Welcome, everybody, to Sandwich Talk. I'm your host, Carlos. This is my chance to hang out with some friends, dive into some new sandwiches, talk about some old ones that we love, and discover something new about each other, too. It's a beautiful podcast we put out on Spotify, YouTube, and today we're doing this in partnership with the folks over at Taste a Local Difference. You'll find out more about them later, but first and foremost, I get to hang out with a friend of mine today by the name of Chef Rece Hogerheide. We've been friends for a long time. We've known each other through the pop-up scene. We've known each other just through the Detroit food scene. And now you get a chance to hang out with him in his establishment where he's been able to build out this incredible menu. And all together, learning about this place, it's not just art of where we're at, but it's art in the food. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce the world over to my friend, Rece Hogerheide.
Hi, how's it going?
Show, dude.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you're here with me now, but nonetheless, it's been a long time, so I'm glad we finally get to hang out and eat.
Dude, we only ever get to hang out like in food capacity.
Working or...
Yeah. We've known each other through the pop-up scene. You had a pop-up for years.
Yeah, so I did a lot of different pop-ups with my former partner where we kind of just would fill in everywhere in the Detroit scene, kind of like places we like to hang out, people we like working with. You and I have done some together, over time, but with Felony Provisions, we really filled into kind of using it as an expressive way for us to kind of get more into the market, see more people, introduce people to kind of what we were doing above and beyond the brick and mortars that we were operating at the time with my former partner, Jason Osborne.
Totally, and you were always in the kitchen scene too, which is something that I gave it up for too. Is like watching you be in the kitchen scene, working, and then as well doing a pop-up, like that takes a lot of dedication.
Yeah, I definitely beat myself up for a long time over running multiple operations, and then my one night off would be running a pop-up, and that very quickly changed with children over the years. But obviously, when you love what you do, you kind of like always just take the time to pour so much into it and spend every waking moment you can into just making good food. And it's always great too, because in the pop-up scene, it's where we could hang out with our friends and just do something that wasn't the daily grind. It was something different. It's like, this is this really cool project that we're working on, or this cool dish or whatever. We can kind of test drive it out and say like, let's get some friends together. Let's go hang out at a restaurant that's their night, or bar or whatever that's closed. We'll be like, okay, cool, we'll take over, and we're just going to go sling some awesome food.
Which leads us to where we're at. I think I feel super special for having been invited by you here, because first and foremost, we are at the Daxton Hotel. The Daxton, altogether, this entire complex, number one, is beautiful. You look at it from the outside, and it's a work of art. You walk in, and there's not just art placed everywhere strategically, but it's also, in itself, just a work of beauty. On top of that, the one reflection that I've understood so far, and that we're going to dive into a little bit more, is how much the food reflects what the art is inside of here as well. So much so that if you're a person staying here at the hotel, you get this on your pillow, which is a story about Rece and his dedication to the sandwich.
It's true. It's I'm from the Midwest. I was originally from Flint, and Midwesterners, they like really humble food, and sandwiches are kind of like something that's what I always ate forever. I mean, my mom was a pastry chef, and she would still come home from her bakery, and she would just stand in the fridge open like I do now and eat sandwiches. So that's kind of what I grew up on, and through my travels, you kind of learn that like it's something that I always try to build into the morals of like a lot of my staff is no matter where you come from, no matter where you are in the entire world, is that we all eat the same in whatever capacity. Like no matter the culture, there's going to be some kind of like stuff between bread, whether it's naan or pita or tortillas or whatever it is. Like no matter where it is in the world, there's something that's, I mean, not like getting into the argument of like, is a hot dog a sandwich, but
no. The fact of the matter is something is sandwiched in a culture, and you're going to find that relationship.
Yeah, the same as here in the American South. We have fried chicken. It originated from Africa, but it exists in Korea and Japan. It's fried poultry everywhere in the world. There's sandwiches everywhere in the world. There's something everywhere in the world. It's just what it means to us kind of here, and that's what we kind of put into the menus and the food that we do is what showcases not only like the local ingredients that we work with, the purveyors that we work with, but like my little touch is like I just like super like hefty sandwiches, because that's like, if that's the one meal I eat a day, I'm definitely probably gonna go for a sandwich because I'm on the move. You can take it with you or not. You can save it for later. It's good either way.
Dude, that's the thing about like our jobs and what we do is we actually don't get a chance to eat throughout the day. Like it's unfortunate. I always try to keep like snacks or something with me if I can, like eat some nuts or granola. But for the most part, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna have one meal, one sandwich.
Yeah, and it becomes like so innate. Like you wake up, you grind, you go, and then you finally eat, and you're like, oh my god, that is so much. I can't. And you're eating like a tiny little something, even if it is just a sandwich. But it is, you know, we kind of look at it a little differently here in terms of like it's a large hotel. We have a lot of staff. You know, in peak season, over up to 200 staff that we have in the entire property that our culinary team actually feeds every single day to take care of. And it's the mantra of take care of those that take care of you, because we all work in a team. So just a little touch on top of it. But I mean, on top of that too, some of their favorite days in our cafeteria is sandwich day. So it all kind of ties together. People like it. People like sandwiches, no matter what culture. We have people that work here from all over the world, from Vietnam, Taiwan, Turkey, Istanbul, Dubai, Korea, Japan, Jamaica, Cuba. A lot of them here from the Midwest, and like no matter what, like they all.
That's a great team. That's a lot of different food.
Yeah, we try and do as much as we can to like feed them, but it's
But the fact is, you have so many different like ideas and tastes. They're all involved in that too. I imagine a lot of those people have certain things that they can add to what you're doing throughout the day to day.
Yeah, it's definitely like the flair of we kind of have nods to it in our one of our side dishes in the restaurant right now is we have Bengali 5-spice roasted cauliflower. Literally my entire like server assistant, like food running team and expoers, they're all from Bangladesh. So
oh, wow.
we take a lot of like what they like, and we're sitting there for sometimes 8 hours a day, kind of like shooting the shit with them of like they're standing right there with you on the pass and talk about the food that they like, the food that we like, and it's just this kind of environment where we all just want to be with each other, and you express a lot through food, and it's great to be able to like bring that to the forefront and recognize people. If it's you're making it for them, like if it's for staff meal, if it's like showcasing something that we're doing in the restaurant, it's a nod to everybody that we have as a part of our team.
Is it weird that when you said staff meal, I got really hungry?
No, family meal, staff meal.
Staff meal is something that specifically for the folks that work in the industry, if you know about staff meal or family meal, it's a beautiful time where there's some kind of food that's been prepared just for the people in the back of the house, or the front of house to run in real quick and grab a bite. And for that food, it's usually something that's ridiculously delicious, a combination of multiple ingredients from throughout the kitchen, and somehow, some way, never going to be on the menu, unless they decide one day, hey, we're going to put this random wild thing on the menu.
Yeah.
Every time, though, it's amazingly delicious. I want to jump into a sandwich, though, real quick.
Let's do it.
Before we do it, I need to read something, because this is a beautiful thing. Some background, this is one of my favorite sandwiches ever. Written here, with each savory bite, the muffaletta sandwich takes Chef Rece back to those warm and fuzzy memories of building simple meals together while enjoying time with his loved ones. That's freaking beautiful, dude. Come on.
So I don't write these. It's more or less our chief storyteller, as he's so eloquently known. Josh, he kind of like takes a lot of what I do, which I'm very fortunate that he can really word together, and it was more or less like me crouching in the office explaining to him. He's like, well, what kind of sandwich? Like, what do you want to do? What is it? We call these like our bedtime stories.
Right.
And it's still like the notion. I was like, I don't know. Like, my diet normally consists of like me 3 in the morning in front of an open refrigerator, whatever's there.
Totally.
And,
I eat over the sink or over the trash can. I don't know
like any industry person would, sitting on a milk crate or a 5-gallon bucket, as we all so easily do.
I typically keep a cooler in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And I sit on the cooler if I need to sit down.
Well, it's multi-purpose. You don't want something that only does one thing. Keeps food cold, also a chair, could be a dining room table. It's whatever you want it to be.
Welcome to the world of a kitchen person. Let's dive into the sandwich, dude. It looks insane. Yeah. I want to show the world what's up on this one. When I say work of art, I mean a work of art. Look at this thing. So multiple layers of meat, different kinds of meat. We've got some lettuce on there. It looks like a nice jardiniere as well. Maybe not necessarily a tapenade, but definitely more on the jardiniere side.
It is a muffaletta that we make in-house. So a true muffaletta, which is this sandwich. It's all house-made, so we do kind of like a banh mi style bread So really soft in the middle, nice and crusty on the outside. Toasted, comes with some of our, we make our own capicola, our own salami, our own ham, mortadella, and then our own muffaletta spread. So it's basically a giardiniera that we cut Castelvetrano olives into with a red wine vinaigrette. It's basically like the most bougie muffaletta we could make.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we instead of just making like a sub dressing, we take our basil that we get from a local farm, and we make a basil oil that we mix with the red wine vinegar to make kind of like that sub dressing, and like completely just drench iceberg lettuce in it and put it in there.
Smart.
Well, I mean, iceberg lettuce, no matter who like poo-poos it, it's the best sandwich topper. Like the shreddus, like thinly shredded iceberg lettuce. It's cold, it's crunchy, it's pointless, but it's just delicious.
It's there. It adds texture. It soaks up the flavor as well, because typically it's on its own, the flavor is nothing.
It's non-existent.
It's water.
It has it's like negative calories. It doesn't even exist as a thing. But
dude, it's an honor to sit down and have a meal with you and not be working right now.
You got to dink it, man.
Technically working.
Somewhat. This is my job, but yeah.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Oh, wow.
It's a good sandwich.
Wow. I'm surprised by all the different flavors I'm getting. It's like, typically in the muffaletta, you get a little bit more of like a heavy deli meat flavor, and then you get the tapenade or the giardiniera. The meat is so well textured, heavily flavored, a little bit of nutty. You're getting the spice, the exterior roast on here too.
Yeah.
Dude, talk to me about these meats. What are they?
So the capicola, it's traditionally like a copa. So when we process the whole hogs, we take the neck muscle out, we cure it, and then we just coat the whole thing in herbs, and we take the finer points of modern cuisine. We sous vide it so it's perfectly cooked, and then we hard roast it to set it. The ham, we take the back ham off of the hog, we cure all that, and then we hang them, smoke them, and then hang them again. Salami, large format Cotto salami, super traditional, all pork, all delicious. We make that. It's got the whole peppercorns that we soak in wine in there. We hang them, stuff them in a traditional beef bung casing, and then we literally roast that, hang them, and then they slice all this to order, and they put it on top of some fresh bread with some toppings.
You can absolutely tell that was sliced to order. The meat is absolutely falling apart, but it's still holding together so well. Congealed rather than having been sat in a warehouse, fridge, freezer, out, fridge, freezer.
Yeah, and that's like the benefit that we really strive for, but not only the freshness, but when we're using local products, we want it to shine through, just from, again, that mantra of being local, being high quality, being of all of this great quality. We want that to shine through. So if we're gonna make, like, we're making deli meat, it's a deli sandwich at base, but it's just really good pork, it's really good bread, it's really good produce, and not just like going that extra mile because we can, like, oh, if we can make it, we should make it. We're doing it for the right reasons to showcase, like, it's just really good, and it's very basic. Like, yeah, it's a ham, but it's a really good ham because it's really good pork. It's raised really well. It was treated with care, and then don't like stop short of the finish line. Slice it to order. Don't like pre-slice a whole bunch of stuff. And
Super smart.
Yeah. So that way you're just going to get the best high quality product that you possibly can.
The bread, dude. The bread is fantastic. It's almost brioche in its texture.
So it's like a combination. It's almost like a Cuban roll that we did almost like in a French bread style. So a little bit of steam to get that crust on there. Super soft in the middle. A little bit of oil so it makes it
roast
nice
on the inside there too. You're going to have a little bit of that crunch on the inside.
Yeah.
Adding another layer of texture. Super smart.
Yeah, so just throwing it on the flat top and then finishing these, warming it all together, and then hitting it with that cold condiment on top, that shredded iceberg lettuce, the muffaletta spread, and then just it's again a super simple sandwich, but like I would eat this 9 days a week.
This is one of those weird times where I'm eating it, I'm enjoying it. I'm talking about it, and as I continue to talk about it, I get hungrier for the same thing that I'm eating.
It's a killer sandwich.
Because it sounds great. The work that you've done to it in itself is an art. Which I guess that goes back to like the Daxton. The Daxton here, you know, we briefly walked around for a second before doing this. And I couldn't help but notice that there's different works of art all over the place. The place itself is absolutely beautiful. That's where we're sitting. We're sitting in like a private room in the Daxton, facing just the street here in Birmingham. This would be a reason for me to come here. Let alone the food is fantastic, but the area, the ambiance here. It doesn't feel like I'm just sitting in a restaurant that got accolades because they're in a nice neighborhood. I'm sitting in a place that actually appreciates what the food is, what the art form is. You've always been that type of person that in every, like whether it's felony provisions, doing the pop-ups with you or anything that you've done, you care so much about not just the ingredients going into things, but the way it's presented, and then how it's cooked, how it's delivered, and then the textures that one gets, the flavors that they get when they eat it.
Yeah.
How did that translate from going from like the pop-up world and what you've done previously to then working here?
So, I mean, it was definitely like, it's a weird transition to going from like the guerrilla kitchen aspect to running, you know, everything from like barbecue, bistro pub, fine dining, and, you know, kind of what we do here, and making that the amalgamation of kind of what we do, because in Birmingham it is a super nice area, but being the focus of art allowed to kind of flex in that a little bit more. We have, I think, like over 300 different independent pieces throughout the entire hotel, even into like the guest rooms and all of the guest-facing areas. So being able to take inspiration from that is something that has made it a lot more interesting and a lot more fun, especially for myself and my entire team. We started upon opening a series called The Art of Dining, to where I'll actually walk around the hotel, you know, with key members of my team, and we'll pick out 5 or 6 different pieces of art, and we do a 5 or 6 course menu, each course based on that piece of art, and it's paired with wine and a cocktail that is also like kind of like tying it all together, and then we'll invite the artist in to come in and talk about those pieces. So
wow,
it's a very immersive experience, but it makes it really fun and interesting to be able to kind of like tell, because we have so many different pieces that have wild stories, and you know, to think that like we started to run out of things that we like. It's not just the art on the walls anymore. It's literally like the light fixtures, like the one above us right now, or you know, different pieces all over.
That's what you're looking at right there. It looks like the stars. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that one was actually a time lapse of shooting stars that was done in like a slow capture, and then it shows the trail of the star. So we kind of take that, we apply the art to what we do in the food, and we're able to kind of really showcase, you know, what the artistic expression of food is, and try and put the Midwestern touch into it, where it's like artfully crafted, very well done, handmade, thoughtful, a lot of intention into it, and playful in the sense of it's not super fussy food, because a lot of people when they come and ask, they're like, oh, what's your favorite thing on the menu? Which obviously is a horrible question. I'm like, I wrote the whole thing. I hope I like all of it. Right? There's these 2 things that are just total garbage.
Yeah. My favorite thing on the menu, easily just this one thing. The rest of it, you don't even want.
Yeah, don't even ask about it. But the best way to explain it is like, I'm super simplistic in that sense. Not just like with what I eat or what I do, but like, what's the best thing? Oh, we do a roast chicken. Like, it's just it's a really, really nice chicken. It's served super simply. It's bought from a good farm. It's raised really well. It's sustainable. There's not a whole lot that we do to it, and like, people love chicken.
See, that's the important thing, though, is you source ethically and properly. You know where your things are coming from. I'm sure the chicken had a name before it hit somebody's table.
I'm sure it did. I don't really ask, but the majority of the farmers is like, I mean, I raised chickens, you know, for some time too, and I've worked on farms, so I totally understand it. Like that, it adds like the merit to it, but just how much it actually matters, like. If you were to do like an actual taste test, which we did like initially, like what farm are we going to buy this from? Where does it come from? And the different farms and everywhere that we work with, like we know from my background, like I know what it should be. It's, you know, the breed, the feed, the care, and the process of it getting from that producer to us. That all matters. So you can tell the difference in that. Like, it tastes better, and there's not a whole lot that you have to do to it. So we're able to showcase ingredients that it's an ingredient. Like, it shouldn't be hidden. It's not powders and soils and textures and everything else in between. While we still do that, like, that's where the art comes in. But we're showcasing, like, it's just really good food. It's like, it's a really good piece of chicken. Like, do we have luxury ingredients? Yeah, we're a luxury property. We are doing fine dining. Like, I spend a lot of money on truffles. That's just something that happens. But you know what? We're putting a lot of it onto like fries and into potatoes and starchy, carby things that everybody likes, and it's good. Like, why not do it? But just showcase something that's of high quality. Yeah, that's all that matters.
I can very much tell that you did that with that sandwich. Like as I was finishing up and joining the Clean Plate Club on that one, the textures of each individual meat was really kind of what was standing out the most to me. In that you also can pick apart what you're eating and feel the different flavors of each individual thing. As a unit, being a sandwich, it holds up, it tastes great. It's a different shape than a standard muffaletta that I would know.
Yeah.
But once again, you fall in with the art where it's your interpretation based on what you can do and what you want to do and how you want to then present here. And I think that that's what's really important. That's one of the best muffalettas I've ever had.
Oh, thanks.
That was fantastic, dude. That was great.
Yeah,
and I love the muffaletta.
That's the fun part too, is that everything, like, being open for interpretation when it comes to like food and hospitality is down to, like, there's even specific like grammatical clauses, and so, like, if you write a menu, it doesn't follow a traditional grammar clause because it's open to interpretation based on what you do, and being able to kind of express that, it allows us to really showcase what it is that we're good at, what we want to do, and what we are all about realistically as like a whole property, not just in our food, but our form of hospitality, how we take care of people. It really matters because that makes it so we stand out, because if you're just following the status quo, like, even if we made a muffaletta, it has to be this type of bread, it has to be this, it has to be that, then that's not us. That's like, it's an interpretive thing. It's always about how you see it, because how I view the world is different from how you view the world. That's why everything is awesome. Like, that's why sharing food with people is like, it's always an experience, because it's how you think of it. How, you know, there's not very many people that are going to sit here and really, like, I mean, you and I would obviously talk about the texture of meat inside of a sandwich. But it's not everybody's going to do that. And for some people, it's yes or no, good or bad. Like, it is what it is. And that's why it's great to be able to, like, share that and share how you kind of express that in the world. For me, it's through food.
I think you did a great job. And for me, like, from what I gather, the best kind of people that I know that make food are the people that, with intent, they want to make sure that that food has the same type of, or a different kind of effect, like emotionally, physically, makes them feel a certain way. It makes them feel like they can not just enjoy the moment, but then go talk about that moment that they felt in biting something.
Yeah, and that's like my whole viewpoint in food is that it's not. There is like some interesting studies that it was done like along the lines of. There was a book too. I think it's like I Eat the Same as You or something along those lines, where it ties the cultural differences to being these experiences that everybody has that are very similar, but then it's also geographical to, like, what's the number one food in New York, like New York City? Pizza. Okay, it lays on like the same lateral line as Rome, birthplace of pizza. Like, the wheat, the way that it grows there, the way the tomatoes grow there, the appellation of those things, like, there's a tie to all of it in some way, shape, or form around the world where it all just, like, it's when you put it in that perspective, it all starts to add up, and then you can share those experiences with no matter who you're sitting at the table with, or couch, or outside on a park bench. It doesn't matter. Everybody has those experiences, and it's expressing it and sharing it with everybody else. Like, it doesn't matter your creed, color, anything. You can sit down and break bread and have food with somebody. That experience is what really matters, and food is the catalyst and the vehicle to make all of that happen.
Amazing. Before we jump into the next sandwich, I want to take a quick break. I want to talk about our sponsor for this episode, previous episodes coming up as well. We're working with Taste the Local Difference. If you do not have the local food guide, if you haven't seen this, please do yourself the favor. I'd like to bring on really quick Paul to give a quick 15 seconds on Taste the Local Difference. Everybody, Paul World.
Hello, world. I'm Paul Green. I work for Taste the Local Difference. This is great, Carlos. Great, Rece.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Put it together. So, Taste the Local Difference works statewide with local food businesses like farms and restaurants that buy from them to support them We offer marketing services, and we are, basically the biggest cheerleaders we can be for local food all over the state of Michigan. Give us a follow at Taste the Local Difference on Instagram or Facebook, or check out our website, localdifference.org. You can sign up for our newsletters and read our blog.
Yes.
Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Quick note, as a consumer of food, I found out about different places that I could either purchase from, know about, restaurants, partners within the city, people that work with each other, but then also by doing this and having my own business, which is our second sponsor, Aunt Me's, which you get these today. This is for you.
Yes.
Chips and salsa. We're based out of Eastern Market. But because of my business and the different connections that I have, we've been able to connect with other restaurants, bars, stores, but then also been able to do this podcast and be connected with you and the team here, Josh and everybody here, to find out about the Daxton. And that's because of Paul and this team at Taste the Local Difference. Do yourself the favor, pick this up, flip through it, check it out. I learned a lot, and I've been doing food here for 13 years. So you'll learn more every day.
Yeah, they're an awesome resource, and Paul has been able, and a major help to us, we can literally call him from the commercial restaurant side of things, is like, hey, we need this, or we're looking for whatever produce or whatever purveyor, and their network is so expansive for us in not just Oakland County, but throughout the entire area that they cover. They have a network that is so fantastic that they'll set you up with the farmers markets, the purveyors, the growers, the producers of whatever it is that you're looking for to continue to support local and support natural.
100%. So cheers, Taste the Local Difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one more sandwich to cover, dude.
We do.
This one, so we've had these prepared beforehand, and they were brought out to me before we started recording, and the smell has engulfed the room at this point. I can still smell it, and that's how heavy of a smell this is. This sandwich in particular it blew me away from when I first saw it. It's a chicken sandwich. You've had a chicken sandwich. Everybody's eaten chicken sandwiches at this point. This one looks special, but why is this one special?
Because it tastes really good. So this is our Korean fried chicken sandwich. So I've really been working on this sandwich through several restaurants for several years at this point, but it has always been a standby in several iterations from, even my partner Jason back with Gold Cash Gold. It's kind of evolved over the years. So over the past 9 years, the sandwich has kind of really been something. So it's our house buttermilk and full sour pickle brined chicken thigh. It is fried in a pretty interesting dredge where it's kind of like cornmeal, corn flour, rice flour, so it's super, super, super crispy. And then it's topped with, shredded iceberg lettuce, our house-made pickles, and then a kimchi aioli. The whole thing is tossed into a sweet gochujang glaze. So we mix gochujang with some of our house-made fermented ketchup and a whole bunch of sugar, and they take the glaze and they put it onto the flat top in a bowl so it starts bubbling. So as soon as this chicken comes out of the fryer, it's so hot that the glaze sticks right to it and gets super sticky.
Dude, yeah, it looks ridiculous. The texture on the outside of this looks like it's just going to be super crunchy, but also it's ridiculously juicy. I don't know if you saw this at home. I'm going to bite into it too. But just getting it off the initial, tell us about the flavors that we're going to be seeing.
So sweet, heat, crunch, sour, and then it's just that really nice chicken. It's normally not that hot, but I just got a bite.
Oh my God.
But again, it's just that it comes out so it's super juicy, and then we add our house-made kimchi aioli on it. So it's got that another depth of funk and flavor. It's our top-selling sandwich. It's one of my favorites. I've carried it around with me for years because it's just so good.
I'm going to break this down in two different ways. Number one is the more food knowledgeable, a little bit more spelled out way. And the second one is a total I like eating takeout in my bed kind of way.
Right.
Number one, the textures in here all play really well together. The flavors are all married. You have the aioli, which I think actually highlights the sweetness and the flavor of the chicken as well.
Mm.
But the aioli also stands out. That's something that I think that's where a lot of the spices come in.
A lot of the spices coming from that. It's a straight gochugaru, so it's a traditional kimchi. We get all of our cabbage in from local farms, and it's actually a vegan kimchi, so there's no fish product in it. So
Oh,
it's
really?
just good old-fashioned lacto fermentation. We take it, we puree it to make the base of the aioli with local eggs.
That's not a QP. If anything, you added a little MSG yourself.
I mean, MSG is coming from kimchi.
Wonderful.
No additives outside of it's pureed kimchi, eggs, oil, rice wine vinegar, lemon juice, and salt.
Amazing.
Super straightforward, but it adds that nice funk and tang to it, and then a little bit more heat from that kimchi that comes through, which really just kind of enforces the flavor profile that we're going with, like the Korean fried chicken. It's not like a true Korean fried chicken. It's the KFC Korean fried chicken sandwich. Why not?
Totally. And that's where it takes me to now. Sitting in my bed in my underwear watching TV, eating takeout. The description that I would have for this is, have you ever had New York style $7.85 General Tso chicken? Think to yourself when you're hungover and there's nothing that's going to cure it. But when you take a bite of that, it immediately melts all the problems away. The flavor is everything that you craved. And it allows you to actually have your headache go away and you take a nap. That's what I'm getting from this.
I've never had a higher compliment. This would get rid of a hangover.
That's exactly what I'm getting from this. This is wonderful, dude.
Yeah.
The flavor is reminiscent of that, like, New York style, but in the elevated best way. Like, this is great. And then on the brioche bun, like, as a chicken sandwich, it's awesome. As a sandwich, it's better.
Yeah, I mean, in our bread, all house-made too. So our house-made milk bread buns, toasted, hit with the chicken, the pickles, everything we're doing from scratch. But it's just, you're getting that sweet, sour, heat, acid, all of it kind of wrapped together and just...
Chicken thigh?
Chicken thigh.
Always.
Yeah, it's got to be boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Like I said, we marinate them in our house-made buttermilk, and then we take the brine from our full sour pickles, half and half, brine them overnight, and then we apply a little bit of science to it. So we actually partly sous vide them, so it kind of brings it up closer to temp. That way, when you fry it, you're not going to over fry it. It's not going to overcook. It's not going to be undercooked. The crispy coating on the outside, it's not going to be burnt and bitter. It's going to be perfect.
That's great, man. Quick note, if you're ever going to do a chicken sandwich at home, thigh.
Always thigh.
There's no reason for breast.
Do yourself a favor. Just buy dark meat.
Always.
It's going to be cheaper. It's going to taste better. Every time. I don't think there's any person in the industry that's going to disagree with it. You're going to have a super dry chicken breast sandwich. You're going to be sad just like your sandwich.
It's a shame.
Yeah, don't do it.
I've had a very well-known chicken breast chicken sandwich. And they said that it's like their number one item. And it was, unfortunately, a little dry. And the flavors were there.
Yeah.
But it just, would I order it?
It's dry.
No.
Just use chicken.
Just use chicken thigh. It's really that easy.
It is that easy.
Mm-hmm. Dude, this is a great sandwich. And the thing is, when you hear all this, you might think, okay, it's maybe a little sweet. It's not too sweet at all. If anything, it's giving you the sweetness that you want, the sweet and sour. But I think that all the other flavors complement it and really give it the savory that you're craving.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just super well-rounded. And my innate desire, which is funny that you bring up, like, New York style General Tso, like really horrible American Chinese food is such a comfort food for me.
I love it.
It just hits every notion of like what you want, especially from like a Midwestern palate. You're like, yeah, that's awesome. Orange chicken, it's horrible. Don't do it.
Dude.
But if you're gonna eat it, you're gonna love every single bit of it.
The same way that I'm Mexican, grew up eating traditional, real Mexican food. But if you take me to like a place that's just going to have enchiladas covered in cheese with a side of rice covered in cheese and like a whole bunch of like refried beans covered in cheese, like I'm going to love it.
Oh, it's going to be great. And you're going to get a really weird neon blue margarita that comes in a fish bowl. You're going to have a horrible hangover. You can eat the sandwich to get rid of it.
Yup.
You're going to have a good time. Everybody likes it. It's super cheap. It's super dirty. It's just really good food. And like that, again, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter about, no matter what part of the industry I've been in, like my palate is, different, but it doesn't really change. Like, I mean, I work in a very, very nice hotel. I have instant ramen in my office right now. Like, don't get me wrong.
And that's the thing about like people that work, in food. If you know food super well, it still means that your palate exists. And sometimes there's certain things like a Totino's pizza roll that just makes total sense to eat.
So, okay, on that note, I've had a group chat going for 2 years where it's literally just a dissertation of the brand of pizza roll and the method of cooking between like 8 people. Air fryer is the best I've heard. Microwave, very sad.
Oh yeah, microwave's no good.
An oven, pretty good if you want to wait.
I oven every time. I do the oven because I just don't have an air fryer.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't need to have an air fryer to enjoy a pizza roll.
Yep. And then same thing with tater tots. Tater tots, you can make them. It's going to be super hard. I don't suggest it. Just buy the bag, the frozen bag of tater tots. To me, that is it's the best form of potato that you'll ever have. That's my opinion.
That's totally fine. You can have that opinion. I'm not going to poo-poo a tater tot. Like, I'm a person. Like, I'm going to enjoy a tater tot. But yeah, I think like you're saying oven for a tater tot. That's the way to go?
I mean, or a deep fry. If you have a deep fryer, go for it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't have a deep fryer in my house.
You step your game up.
I guess you're right, dude. I'm sorry. I mean, I have like the full burner in the backyard, and we can do the turkey fry if you want to. That's a different story.
Get a little tabletop, get a little fry daddy.
I don't have that.
You see, but you could deep fry pizza rolls too. So you got tater tots, pizza rolls. You're stepping your whole game up. You're gonna be just fine.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Dude, you make such a valid point.
It's like a $30 Black Friday investment at Walmart. It's gonna change your life. I've bought so many like tabletop deep fryers from doing pop-ups over the years that you're like, you can get like a Hamilton Beach one or whatever for probably like $20 on Amazon.
Okay. All right. Did you hear that?
Well-ventilated house. Don't burn your house down. Don't burn yourself. Your house is going to smell like grease. It's going to be fine.
That's what I'm saying is when it comes to food, if you know what you're talking about, if you know how to make good food, it doesn't mean that it has to be elevated. The food that we had here today is, in fact, sandwiches that are comfort foods. They are delicious. They're well put together. Obviously, everything here is from scratch, and it is indeed elevated. But the inherent form of these things, of these 2 sandwiches that we ate, are, I mean, that's home right there. It's low key. It's simple. It's back alley. It comes from a place of comfort. It comes from a place of joy. Mm-hmm. And if that means that you need a ramen, if you need, Totino's pizza roll, like, keep it simple. You don't always need to do the biggest things. That being said, what I just ate here today is something that took me to another level of what I didn't think on those 2 sandwiches could do. Specifically the muffaletta. The muffaletta was the textures, the flavors on the meats, on the cheese, on the dressing. The bun, the texture on the bun is really kind of what fascinated me the most because looking at it, it looks like it's going to be hard. The type that gets in your tooth and maybe cuts your gum up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Captain Crunch all over the roof of your mouth.
Not at all. Yeah. This one was great. This was just soft enough on the outside and pillowy on the inside. Like this is a sandwich that I would drive to come check out again. There's a reason why I've heard that you should go check out Rece in the program here at the Daxton. Friends of mine in the food scene know about you. They know about what you've done, but furthermore, they know about the things that you've been doing here currently. So I thank you for continuing to be a name, a voice, for lack of a better term, a person to be with. Here in Birmingham right now at the Daxton. And you're a reason, you're a destination. Like this food, what we've seen here today, the place that we're in, like this is an actual destination. I would absolutely come here. I'm going to come down and sit for a dinner that maybe isn't a sandwich. Before we go, what are some of the other things that we can find here on the menu? And then how do we find out more about you?
So we are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. We are open for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Starting at 7 a.m. all the way until 11 p.m. We also have an awesome bar and lounge program here with another menu. And if you're staying with us in the hotel, we have a menu that is featured with our many selections from the restaurant as well. You can find us on social media, Daxton Hotel, Madam Restaurant, M-A-D-A-M. You can check us out on all the social media. But we have a really awesome and diverse menu that we feature. Things such as these sandwiches, all the way down to we're buying high quality Wagyu for a really simple steak if you're looking for that. Different inspiration from all over the world, from Thai, Korean, American, Japanese, Cuban, Latin American. It's really a big melting pot that we're able to showcase really awesome local ingredients and kind of showcase the purveyors, producers, and the growers around us that they just grow awesome food, and we're just the conduit to get it out into the community.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about these sandwiches again, dude. This is awesome.
They're good sandwiches.
I honestly can't thank you enough for being a part of this. I can't.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Josh, the team from the Daxton, the whole group here. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. I'm thankful to have been given the opportunity to come here, taste the local difference. The Daxton Hotel, everybody here that's been part of today. Thank you so much. And specifically, I also want to thank all of you for checking this out, for checking out Sandwich Talk. You're the reason why we do this. We want to showcase our friends. We want to showcase the food that is most known across the world, which is the sandwich. And here in the Metro Detroit area, we're doing it, and we're doing it big. As you can tell right now with Chef Rece, this is something that you've never had before. And you absolutely need to come and check this out if you haven't before. And if you have, make a reservation for a different kind of meal occasion. Come for breakfast.
Yeah, we got it all. We're actually coming out with new seasonal menus every quarter, so it's always going to be changing. It's always going to be new. It's always going to be fun. And no matter what time you're coming, you're gonna really enjoy what you're getting. I can promise you that. So
love it. Good deal, man. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
Everybody back home, make sure you check us out. I'm Carlos Parisi, your host of Sandwich Talk, and we're going to have this all across the board. If you have questions, make sure you comment below, like, share, subscribe, talk about us. We love you. We'll see you on the next one.